He once claimed that he could hear better laying on the floor, ear to the wood, waiting for the vibrations no one else could feel. To most, that looked like a man unraveling. But for Brian Wilson, it was arrangement. He believed the truth of a song began before sound. Born June 20th, 1942 in Inglewood, California, Brian Douglas Wilson was the oldest of three brothers. By age 2, he had lost most of his hearing in his right ear. Some said it was from a blow delivered by his father, Murray Wilson, a songwriter with a volatile discipline. The family never confirmed the cause. Brian rarely discussed it. He worked with what he had, half of a stereo field, but a full imagination. In 1961, Brian co-founded the Beach Boys with his younger brothers, Dennis, the band's only surfer and drummer, and Carl, its lead guitarist and quiet anchor. Their cousin, Mike Love, brought the showmanship. Friend Al Jardine helped blend the harmonies. Their first single, Surfin', led to a Capitol Records deal. Hits followed: Surfin' USA, Fun, 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 I Get Around. While the others toured, Brian stayed in the studio. In December 1964, after a panic attack aboard a flight, he stopped performing. He was 22. It wasn't retreat. It was redirection. He devoted himself to sound. Released May 16, 1966, Pet Sounds cost over $70,000 to make. That's more than $660,000 today. Brian used tack pianos, bicycle bells, vibraphones, dogs barking, and stacked 8-part harmonies. The melodies were soft, the lyrics aching. God Only Knows, Don't Talk, and the opening track, Wouldn't It Be Nice? They were all Brian. He wrote the music, arranged the parts, and shaped each measure. It sounded cheerful, but inside it asked for permanence in a world that offered none. The album charted modestly in the United States, peaking at number 10, but its influence exploded in the UK. Paul McCartney said it changed how he understood music. Brian moved on to his next vision. That vision was Smile, a record stitched from fragments, recorded between August 1966 and May 1967. He called it a teenage symphony to God. Tracks like Heroes and Villains and Surf's Up were written in pieces meant to be assembled later. He worked late, changed tempos mid-take, and once filled the studio sandbox so he could play piano barefoot. It wasn't a stunt. He was chasing feeling. But Smile collapsed. Wilson grew paranoid, medicated, and overwhelmed. He spoke of bad energy in certain studios. He feared musical consequences. Capitol pulled the plug in May 1967. By the 1970s, Brian had become a recluse. He weighed over 300 pounds, 136 kilograms, slept for days, and he was largely absent from the group's business. Dennis Wilson, he drowned in 1983. Carl Wilson died in 1998. Brian lived on, but under psychological control, mostly controversially by Dr. Eugene Landy, whose license was eventually revoked for abuse of power and overreach. Still, Brian returned. In 2004, after 38 years, Smile was finally completed as Brian Wilson's solo album. The man who once feared the very act of finishing it stood on stage and performed it, front to back. Critics called it a resurrection. Fans called it relief. His final years were quieter. He was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and schizoaffective disorder, which explained the chaos. He toured sparingly. His voice softened, but the music stayed. On June 11, 2025, Brian Wilson died peacefully at the age of 82. His family wrote simply, "He is with Carl and Dennis now." He left behind 7 children and a body of work that redefined pop. Brian's innovations, modular recording, layered harmony, orchestral structure, live on in modern artists, from Radiohead to Sufjan Stevens. Pet Sounds sits in the Grammy Hall of Fame. Smile became a monument to endurance. He once built a sandbox around his piano, so his feet could feel the sand while he composed. He wrote with one ear and the part of his mind that never stopped listening. And now in silence, those chords keep playing. These are Interesting Things with JC.